When people are like, you eat
Oh
Chick-fil-A, you
man.
shouldn't because they're homophobic and all that stuff. I'm sitting there like, there's some good homophobic chicken. I'm sorry.
Listen, if it's
I'm sorry. I
free,
support
I'll
you.
fuck up some chicken minis. All right.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Della,
I'm Mad Curious.
and we're back with another episode of Unfiltered Gamers. Matt is wearing her I went to the TwitchCon meetup shirt and a, a cutie hat.
Yeah, I'm unfiltered in my looks today too, I suppose.
You keep saying that. You look fine. You look fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what was this notion that's like, you must be pretty for the
You
camera at all
don't, because you're
times.
not a woman, you don't get it. There's so much pressure on us to make sure we're like putting on a face, putting on looks, putting on the right clothes. I'm such a nerd. I just can't care about it all the time, but it comes off like that I'm not womanly enough or whatever. And it's not that. I just, it's like there's a lot of pressure for women to like try. And I can tell you, as a nerdy woman, I don't want to try all the time. Like sometimes, sure, but like a lot of time, I'm in the middle of like thinking about something, doing something with my brain, and the last thing I want to do is worry about like what I look like, just like a dude. But dudes don't really get it because even when they don't consciously think about it, the perception of a woman is like we don't get to choose our loadout in life. You know what I mean? Like being a woman, we don't, dude. We don't. We're playing a
It's the same
game.
thing for men. It's the same thing
I'm
for
not
men.
saying
It's
you
just
don't
in a
have
different
issues too.
aspect.
Yeah, I'm not saying you don't have like things you have to deal with too. I'm just saying like one of the ones that we have to deal with as a woman all the time is like the fact that there are societal pressures for what we look like, and if we don't try, then we are judged for that. And it's like, oh, what's wrong with her that she didn't like put on
Yeah,
her
it's the
best
same thing.
face, you know?
It's the same thing for men. I still have to try. I still have to look presentable for the camera. My face can't look a mess, and my freaking hair can't be all crazy and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
But
I shaved my
it's
head.
not nearly the same extent. I mean, there are plenty of dudes that look like they've never bathed themselves. I don't know, Asmund, right? And he literally doesn't bathe himself, and he has, millions of people that love him. So it's like
Yeah,
it's
but they
just a lot.
can't smell him.
Sure, but
Can't smell into the camera.
but think about all of the women that are on top. There's no women on top that don't have makeup on. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? So it's just different standards. But there are plenty of men that are unwashed that like are fine. That nobody's watching men for their looks. It's like women, no matter
That
what,
depends.
we're not just going to be judged for our brains. We're always also going to be judged for our looks. That's just always. And men, it's
It,
not always that way. Does it make sense?
I get you, but I don't think nobody's. I don't believe that you're being judged in your looks. I mean, you look
Even if it's
fine.
not like a conscious perception, it's just women are taken less seriously when they don't put on a face. It's just part of it. So
Well, I don't know about that, but you being somebody. First off, happy Pride.
happy
Today's
Pride.
day 2 of Pride, and it seems like a lot of big companies aren't. What do you say? How do you say this in a politically correct way? They don't seem to really care about Pride this year.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
honestly I don't see anything wrong with it, and that's coming from a gay girl. I don't, because it just was always virtue signaling. And
It was
at the
correct.
beginning, it might have been like a nod to, okay, the world is becoming more accepting of do whatever you want to do, which is how it should be. It shouldn't be like, but we also shouldn't be pushing it on anyone. Like I don't need anyone else to be gay, and I don't need anyone else to like acknowledge me. Like if I want to date a woman, I want to be able to date a woman. If I want to date a man, I want to be able to date a man. I don't want anyone else to care. You know what I mean? Like that's my
They have to
business.
care.
That's my personal business, and it doesn't matter. I don't need to broadcast it, right? So it's like I'm glad that it's becoming more accepted in society, but I also understand that it's gotten so accepted that it's now becoming annoying, and so I don't think that we need it to be everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
So
Just like a lot of the big companies, like Ubisoft, Bungie, Microsoft, Google, like all those big companies. Usually by now they've been posting things about Pride in their profile pictures on websites like Twitter. I mean X would have been changed to to have the flag in back of it. But now you're not seeing that. I mean, it's still early. It's still like the second day, but usually they like day one is like out there, like, hey, happy Pride. We want to show our appreciation and representation to those within the company who are gay or part of the
I think it's good they're
LGBTQ
toning it down though, because
community.
it got to a point where a lot of the stuff coming out was people being really gross, like at the Pride events. Like there were people that were like straight up naked running the streets. You know, it just
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be in support of like gross behavior. So it just felt like too much, and like a lot of like truly degenerate stuff like that that like isn't fun for anyone except the people doing it. So, you know, it's like you
Yeah.
don't have to subject other people to your stuff. Like I don't need to know anybody else's stuff any more than they need to know mine. Like like sexuality is very personal, you know? And so we should be able to express it without there being like backlash, but we also don't need to, now that we've gotten there, we don't need to like
You
yeah.
don't keep your stuff behind closed doors. Behind closed doors.
And
Like,
I think there was a time when it made sense for everybody to kind of come together and support each other more openly, because we didn't ever have that. Now that we've had that, we can kind of relax. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as like when we needed, when women were trying to get the right to vote and that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, that's going to be a topic. Yeah, we need to be in public in support of different things in order to get that change to occur. When the change occurs, we can kind of back up a little bit. It's like my personal take on it. We don't need it to be front and center all the time.
yeah, it's surprising to see like a company like Ubisoft, they are recognizing International Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
And I think that's good.
So,
I
like,
think do it.
A lot of people don't know Men's Mental Health Awareness Month is June, the same time as Pride, but like that's pushed aside because there's just like this kind of like social thing where it's like men's mental health is like get over it, you're a man, or like when don't we really talk about men's mental health, which we pretty much don't, because there's like a lot of time. Like May is also military appreciation month, but you don't hear about that. There's like a lot of things that you don't get to hear about because it's not something that could be monetized correctly.
Well,
so
it maybe could be, but they aren't, and it's just maybe not as easy because of where things are being pushed, right? And it's like this popularity contest thing, and so it just hasn't been framed for it.
So when I say monetize, you can't like, it doesn't fit into like a specific box. Like you see, okay, so mental health awareness, it just goes, what is that? It just says men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what kind of men? Are we talking about trans men? Are we talking about gay men? Are we talking about disabled men? It's just what's men?
Well, I think
You see?
I think it could,
Black men, white
though,
men?
because there's been such a surge in I am tired of seeing people different than me. I want to be taken seriously too, from a lot
Yes.
of like white men, especially because they felt like they've been taken from in a circumstance where they had, and then more attention is being given to other groups, the protected groups, right? And
Yes.
so I think there's an opportunity here for them to get a spotlight shown on them if they want it. You know what I mean? Like everybody should get a spotlight at some point. You know what I mean?
Correct. But the thing is, when you can't pinpoint one particular group of men,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, what's the point? Because from like, it's like with Twitch, like especially with Twitch, when it comes to Twitch, when it comes to like awareness, like you ever notice like when it's like indigenous people month, or it's like islanders, specific islanders,
Well, a lot
Latino,
of these are because they're minority groups.
because it's
and so
it's groups.
if it's the majority, it's hard to have, like, it's just big.
Yeah,
it just
but
is, you know.
the thing is like, you have those groups, it's broken down to minorities, right? So you can monetize and make money off of that.
Yeah.
But when you look at the military, it's like, how can we do the military?
I mean, you could.
Oh, gay veterans?
No, you
but
could do.
then
I mean, I see a lot of stuff about veterans.
on
Like
Twitch,
there's like groups. There's groups. Yeah, there's like a whole
again.
There's a whole like
there's
Twitch
groups.
group of veterans I've seen.
Yes, there's groups, but when have you seen on the front page or like any of Twitch promotions?
I mean, they could though.
that
They're
they
just
say-
not, because
they-
again, the virtue signaling, and it's
Again-
not a,
again,
it's not
exactly.
I'm not saying they. I'm just trying to say they could, and I see where you're coming from, like in saying it can't be monetized, but I think they could monetize it. They're just not, because
but
it's
again-
not the virtue signal that's going to be like popular
Exactly.
and cool.
Because the thing is like, military is like, you choose to do that. You choose to do that. That's your choice. Veterans or your veterans, that's your choice to be that. Right? That's you chose to
It
do that.
being a choice,
And you
shouldn't
can't make
it
money.
less important. That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
But the thing is, you can't you can't make money off it, because then you say military. When you say the military, like veterans, you put everybody. It includes everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's supposed to include everybody. But Twitch sees things as more like black and white. We need a, oh, is it for gay veterans? Is it for
No, it should. We
trans
should have.
veterans?
We
It's
should
for
have
black,
veteran
white?
celebration for sure. Like, I don't
We
understand why
should.
it
We
wouldn't
should.
be bigger and more like.
Look how long it took for them to get. Look how long it took for veterans to get a veterans tag in Twitch
Did
alone.
it?
It took a long time. It took a while.
It seems
And then
so
on top of
crazy to
that,
me.
People, streamers could sit there and bash veterans and their mental health. There was just a streamer not too long ago. She was sitting there talking about veterans' mental health, and it's like,
Right. And
she's
they
like
can say
hoping they
that, but
all get
can't say
PTSD.
they can't say stuff about gay people
You
or,
ca- exactly.
or racist, but they can say stuff.
Exactly.
That is kind of crazy. I like. Where do you think it? I mean, where do you think that stems from? I mean, I know it's minority
Again,
groups,
it's
but
no money. There's no money in veterans. There's no money in veterans that Twitch feels.
how is there even
Even
money
though-
in gay? You know, like
Capitalism.
logically
You
speaking.
you cater to a group, and you make that group feel like they're wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and you could get them for anything. Like, just going back to like
So
these
you're
these
thinking that like gay people have more money than veterans specifically?
No,
Is that,
it's
like,
just that-
like where.
you can virtue signal to them and cater to them, and like it's like where we can grab people more. So like most, like all the companies saying like, oh, we have all these pride stuff, buy this, buy that. You could capitalize off of that. You can capitalize off a whole bunch of stuff with pride in it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to stuff like veterans, where you're gonna do a flag, okay, cool. We can't capitalize on that. Like, how many times do you see much like HyperX or like Corsair or even Logitech saying like, oh look, we have this limited edition for in support of our troops, army freaking keyboard or mouse or controller, right?
I wonder why they don't.
We
Like,
now
it
have.
I mean, the patriotism is just so down too, right? So that's
Yeah,
probably
nobody
a
wants
big
to-
part of it.
Everybody hates America now. Everybody lives in America, hates America.
Yeah.
I mean, they hate it, but they won't leave it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people come over here, they hate it, but won't go back to their country of origin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's just very weird. It's like I hate the American government. When people need to understand, when people say they hate America, they need to be very specific. You hate the American government, because we can all agree the American government sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. It doesn't matter if
all
red or blue.
governments suck
They both
when
sucks.
we want to really boil it down. You and I think
Exactly.
both agree on that. Yeah.
Exactly. But the thing is, everybody can sit here and say, we are losing our rights. We don't get this. Like, we can sit here freely. Me and Matt can sit here freely and criticize the American government and not get our doors kicked in.
Yeah.
Or we'll probably get demonetized, but
Might be on some list somewhere.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna get our doors kicked in and put in a camp somewhere.
Yeah.
So let's be happy about that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's not the worst. It may not be the best, but it's not the worst.
I saw a video in North Korea. The phones like they have, it's all censored. Like, they can't say certain words. They can't get certain movies, certain programs and stuff. That's how censored North Korea is. And if you say something bad about the North Korean government, Kim Jong-un will probably kill you and your whole family.
And there's definitely like censorship across companies to some extent, but like those are companies, and the companies are starting to function like their own little monarchy. So it's getting weird out here, to be honest. But yeah.
So it's just coming back to the topic with these companies not pushing out their like pride posts and everything. It's like, is there a shift where they saw like, okay, maybe going for the modern audience is not there anymore, or just like we did all that and we lost a whole bunch of money?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you don't do pride stuff, that doesn't mean, like, if you don't participate, people aren't necessarily going to be like, oh, I'm not going to buy from them because they didn't participate in pride. There was a time where that might have been true, right? Where when people didn't do like the black square or something, like if you didn't participate, like you were canceled. Now, if you do participate, you might be canceled. It's like, it's a pendulum swing, right? And they're just trying to go by the trends. And that's why you're totally right that like there's no money necessarily in veterans, but there could be if that's what the people that are in charge, of these trends, the people that really push the trends, they could push it if they wanted to. And there has to be some reason they're not. There has to be some monetary or power reason that they're not, but it's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
And so, like, as somebody who just wants to have the personal life I want to have at any given time, I don't want to be used as some pendulum swing tool, you know what I mean, to like push capitalism. That's not it's just
yeah,
crazy.
exactly. It's so weird that people complain about capitalism, how capitalism is bad, but you know when these companies drop anything for pride, you eat it up.
Yep.
And it's like you don't see that they're using you. They're using you. The same thing when it's for Black people too. It's like when they say, "Oh, we're celebrating Black History Month. We're gonna put out these certain like freaking cups or shirts and stuff." It's like you're marketing to me once a month, and that's it.
Yeah, and I
That's
think
all.
I think there's such a conversation going on right now too, where it's like if you were to say like, okay, we're celebrating Men's Month and now it's finally becoming something that's okay. Like before, if you did that, it was like the all lives matter basically. It was like if you were doing it, you were doing it anti the other thing. And
Yeah,
that's not how it necessarily works. We have to understand that like just because you want something and you're fighting for something for yourself and your people doesn't mean that the other people don't also still matter just because they're the majority, and you have to take other people's feelings into account and have empathy towards that. Just because they might have had it easier than you doesn't mean they're not just as important as you still. And I think that's something that's
correct.
really hard for a lot of minority groups to like understand and comprehend because they're so amped up in their groups and they're like there's this big circle jerk of like, oh well, we're important, we're so important, we're so important. And it's like, yes, but so are the people that you think you're fighting against, and maybe you could just stop fighting against them for a second and realize that all of us are important. It really is. And so we don't have to focus so much on this like, I'm an important minority group, look at me. And instead just be like, hey, we've gotten to a much better spot. Let's breathe for a second. Because as soon as you start forcing this stuff on other people, they're going to start to get really upset. And it's understandable that they'd be really upset because they're not being acknowledged at all. And I understand that they might have had it easier, but usually it wasn't them that had it easier, it was their ancestors. So it's like this whole conversation about really take a second, and people just keep getting like, it's like if you don't, it's like the whole Palestinian Jewish thing right now, where like if there's like a Jew, they're like, oh, you're not allowed to be in the media or something. It's like, can we just take a second? Because everybody's a person, okay? Everybody's just as important as everyone else. Just take a breather, take a second, and realize that you are causing some of the problems that you think that you're fighting against.
Exactly. And it's weird to see the whole that pendulum swing, because you gotta understand, like, a lot of companies lost a lot of money for it. They lost like thousands of dollars. And I mean, look at the layoffs that's happening right now. People are still being laid off. Projects being canceled because they saw, like, okay, we tried this for 3 to 4 years straight, and we just lost money. We lost money. We catered to the certain types of diversity groups and the minorities, and we tried to make everybody happy, but we lost tons of money. Like, look at the Budweiser thing. When you look at like the whole Budweiser thing with a million, what's her name? I forgot this whole thing. I forgot her name. I don't want to butcher her name. Like everybody attacks us. There's a trans woman, and she was like on Budweiser. She got like a Budweiser thing, right? Her face was in the Budweiser cans. Budweiser lost like millions of dollars,
Okay.
millions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, because probably
And then
the
everybody,
majority of their target audience isn't gay.
exactly. But when the woman who was in charge of that was in marketing, she was like, she's trying to bring a new group of people to drink Budweiser. I'm sorry, miss, but a lot of the new group of people, young teenagers, don't drink Budweiser.
Well,
They drink like PBR
it's
and other
these
stuff.
people in a boardroom and they're like, okay, we have 80% of the market captured, right? They're like, okay, there's 20% left and a solid 10 of that 20% is gay. Let's try to go after them. But they don't realize that there's so much hate. Or they say, okay, well, we're going to try to get rid of the hate. And, if the haters leave, so be it. But they don't realize that the haters might be 30%. And so, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, I don't want those people to be my customers anyway. Okay, but they are. So what are you going to do about it? You have to eat those costs if that's the case. And it's like this logical money thing, especially coming from finance. I know exactly how this goes. You have to actually decide, am I going to not sell to anyone who doesn't share my values? Because no one shares your exact values. You will have no customers.
Yeah, I forgot somebody said that like somebody was like I forgot who it was, but I'm pretty sure somebody in the comments would say it. But a while ago, um, somebody asked some like famous basketball player or somebody, it was like, how do you feel about racist people wearing your shoes and stuff? Like, don't you feel like you should not sell your shoes to them? And they're like, racist people gotta wear sneakers too. Like,
Yeah.
you know, what the heck? Like, I'm not gonna stop. Like, I'm not. I think I can go. If you're racist, don't wear my stuff. Like Tommy
Yeah.
Hilfiger, way back. Tommy Hilfiger said on the news, he was like, "My clothes aren't made for black people in the ghetto." And guess what happened? All the black people in the ghetto was like, when I went Tommy Hilfiger, he started losing money.
And that's what's happening all over
Like,
gaming is they're like, oh, well, this game isn't for you. Okay, well, then we won't buy it. And then look what's happening. And it's like you're making your market so small. And if you're going to make your market that small, that's fine. There are companies that should be celebrating Pride that are maybe for the gay market, right? That would make sense for them to rainbow
correct.
up on Pride Month because they're creating Pride products. Okay, great, right?
Yes.
That makes sense. But if your market is much larger than that, you have to think what serves your full audience, not just one small group of them. And you have to think about that very logically. And a lot of these companies are learning that the hard way. And I understand not putting pride forward on every like corporation, to be honest, like, because it feels like virtue signaling at this point. I think it was fine one time. One time, like, gave us like, okay, pride is becoming like being gay is becoming more okay. Because a lot of the people who would assume are haters of gay, they're just trying to say, okay, keep it out of the schools and keep like don't educate our children with it. And that's their business, to be honest. That's their business how they want to educate their children. That's a whole
Correct.
conversation. But it's like they're just trying to control their own space. And I'm okay with that. I don't see any reason for anyone to need to push any beliefs, whether it's religious or anything else, onto anyone else, right? Just say what you feel. But no corporations need to take that on. No corporations need to take on a value system. That's not their business. They're just selling products and services.
Now, don't get me wrong. Companies like Bungie, Destiny, they have like a special skin, like a Pride skin in their and for Destiny. They have like it's like a pink armor with the flag and everything. I think you switch the flags. So they have that something within game. And I remember Halo Infinite last Juneteenth, or was it Black History Month? They had like the African colors for the Spartan armors. And I'm just like, okay, well, most of Halo takes place in when it's on Earth is in Africa and everything. But like at certain points, it's just like this is just like pandering, and it's like it's just a grab for money.
Mhm.
And they did the same thing with the Justice League's kills, Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. They gave like each of the members their own like gay and pride outfits. Even the gender swapped Mr. Freeze. It was Mrs. Freeze, and so it was just like, what are you guys doing? I'm not here to say that you shouldn't have anything in your game for those who are black, gay, or any part of any minority diversity group. It's just that when you put it out in a certain way, it's very performative and it's like a money grab.
Yeah, I
If
think
you,
people can
I
tell
mean,
when it's done with the right intention and when it's done for the
yes,
market. Like the games that I just played, Lost Records, for instance, that's made with a gay market in mind, right? And
yes.
it's very, very gay and very like nostalgic and cute, and it's just. But obviously, the audience that's not for that isn't gonna buy that, and that's they budgeted for that, right? That's the game they made, and you have to understand where you're positioned in the market, and if you are positioned in the market for a bunch of straight white guys, why are you marketing for trans people? It doesn't make sense.
But it doesn't hurt to have like those try to market towards like trans people and gay people. It doesn't hurt.
No,
Like,
but
throw something out there.
it's how can I put it? So there's segmentation, right? Where you do different marketing for your segmented groups. But if you're focusing only on one all the time and you see all corporations doing that, it begins to feel like pandering. And that's where I think we've gotten with Pride Month is it feels like pandering, virtue signaling, everybody's doing it because they feel like they have to do it, because there was so much cancel culture pressure back in 2020 for everybody doing these things, and if you didn't, then you were called out. And that's where it started to get really toxic, is if you're called out for not doing something, right?
Yes. Okay.
Because doing something shouldn't be expected. It's just, if you do it, you're signaling, okay, I'm marketing to this group. I'm marketing to trans people today because I want to, not because I feel like I have to. And when when people start to see, oh, they feel like they have to, this is virtue signaling, that's where it gets toxic for everyone involved.
Okay. I get what you're saying. So again, it's only the second day in June, so we'll see if like these companies like do we start seeing the change for all these like big major companies. But as of right now, it's just like no one's really changing their icons. It's just like, listen, everybody hunker down and get to it. Like, I mean, Kotaku didn't do it yet, and Kotaku, they're like notorious for being extremely on the woke side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't done anything yet, so it's like we'll see what happens. And it kind of like goes into our next like talk about a lot of companies is like shooting yourself in the foot. And when I say shooting yourself in the foot, it's like you said, it's called like pandering or virtue signaling. So recently, like you said, the whole thing with Israel and Palestine, there's like this whole divide going on right now, and it's leaking into like social media and the gaming space right now, especially on Twitter and streamers now too. So there's a brand of energy supplement drinks called what is it called? Gamer supplements. Or stream, I forgot what's gamer supplements. It's whatever. It's like an energy drink for gamers, whatever. Recently this streamer, she has come out and said, I'm cutting ties with them because they have Ethan Klein, part of H3H3, who is his wife is from Israel, and I believe he's Jewish also, maybe not, but because his wife was a part of the IDF,
everybody
and with the
from
whole
Israel
situation.
That's how it works. They have to serve.
But because of that, they're like, okay, you're with this gamer supplement product because his politics and ideas don't match your minds. I'm gonna cut off the whole company.
Well, then they better cut off every single company that they'll ever work with, because they're always going to have people within it that do not agree with you on something. That's just how life works.
But it's just crazy to me. It's just like,
it's insane.
At a certain point, I get having morals and standing by what you believe in. Go ahead. But at a certain point, you got to sit there and go, am I just making myself broke and cutting myself off from all these opportunities?
Though? Do these people have spreadsheets like where they're like, okay, these are the things that I find important today, so these are the things I'm going to cancel companies on? Like, how do people even track this shit, to be honest? Like, it's just absurd. It's like, oh, well, if somebody doesn't support this issue this year, because it's not like you've canceled companies over that for your whole life. Okay. So now it just becomes this like virtue signaling mess. To stand on your morals doesn't mean to not converse or have business deals with people who don't agree with you. That's not how it works.
Yeah, so Gamer Supplements has like a collaboration with H3H3 Podcast, and they have like a cup. It's like called Waifu Cups X, like crossover with H3H3. So I guess because of that, they're like, oh, I'm doing away with Gamer Supplements. Mind you, hold on, here's this. Gamer Supplements had somebody who was a part of their group who was a pedophile.
Oh, but that was okay.
They also had somebody who was a part of the group who was a known Nazi.
So pedophiles and Nazis are, but not. Yeah, so, got it.
And then when they were called out on that
we're seeing the Nazis when they were called out about here, but the Jews are up here. That's where they're at.
When they were called out about that, they were like, "Oh, I didn't know about that stuff. I didn't know about that." But when I saw H3H3 and Ethan and his wife,
that's the power of virtue signaling, because people don't know, because they're putting on blast these things that they care about, and then they're getting it's so ridiculous, dude. It's so ridiculous. What do you mean you don't know about that? That's like me saying I don't know about what's going on in Israel and Palestine, right? That's like me saying that, and then you're like, well, you should know. You should know. Well, you should know about the pedophiles, shouldn't you? Shouldn't you?
They said, after a lot of thought and research, I've terminated my contract with GamerSubs. I don't want to move forward with a company that are partnered with Ethan Calvin. I know it's difficult these days to find brands that don't have problematic entanglements, but it is what it is.
It's
And
also
they
this
said,
principle of morals always being like universalism versus individualism, you know?
then somebody said, wait till you find out about Fansly. It is uses OData or KYC, which is also allow children to post explicit content on platforms that they allow. So like they're saying like, oh, you don't want to work with GamerSubs because they work with Ethan Klein. Okay, you're on Fansly. Guess what Fansly is doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
These people keep going on and on. Like, you understand? You're on Amazon. You're on Twitch. That's partnered with Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Guess where some of that money goes to?
Mm-hmm.
Guess who's supporting that?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think when Hassan was going on that rant about it, a lot of companies were like, we're done with you. We're done with Twitch. We're losing all the sponsors. You're done. All the ad revenue was like, you're done.
Yep.
It was called Adpocalypse because of him. You think that was like a coincidence? Like, no, like, once again, I understand you have your morals and you have your beliefs, but at a certain point, you're just shooting yourself in the foot because one person is a part of the company or is dealing with the company, and you're just like, oh, I'm not gonna work with them, so I'm gonna lose out on whatever amount of money they were giving me.
Well, you're gonna have to keep doing that for whatever they deem is important, whatever they deems is important at any given time. You are now going to have to give in to that because you have, and you've declared that you are going to suck the teat of they. And if you don't, eventually you will be canceled too. That is how it works. That is a slippery slope that you just tumble down quickly. I personally almost got pulled down that slope myself because as somebody who has a multitude of conflicting beliefs at any given time, nuanced beliefs is like how I like to think about it. I've gotten pulled in many different directions in this creator journey. Like, for instance, when Harry Potter came out, I was one of those who was like, I'm not going to play it, right? I'm not going to play it. And I now today probably will play it at some point and have been very vocal that I take back not playing it, to be honest, because it felt like I was virtue signaling. And as much as I just wanted to protect my people in my community and make everybody feel welcome, it was also me giving into the they that decides all the rules. And it's like, we get to decide our rules. You know, we get to decide what we support and what we don't. And that can be very personal for every single person. And you don't have to make it some sort of political statement. Nothing you do has to be a political statement unless you want it to be. And that's your decision. And if you let other people make that decision for you, then you're just sucking the teat.
Exactly. And there's the same thing happened with it was a PC company. I forgot which PC company. Meta PCs. They worked with some YouTuber who was like just kind of controversial, like, because they had a partnership with that YouTuber, Meta PCs, and that YouTuber, and people who were with Meta PCs was like, oh, I'm not gonna work with Meta PC or buy Meta PCs anymore because they have this YouTuber working with them. It's like, when does it end? When do you sit there and go,
where's the line?
I'm losing money? And mind you, half you Twitch streamers who do it full time need the money because you guys have a whole bunch of like events where you talk about you got to raise money for this goal because you might get thrown out, you're gonna lose your house or you're moving and stuff. And like, okay, I get you could get money from your viewers and stuff, but sometimes that extra $2,000 a month or whatever contract you have with whatever company to promote their stuff helps out a lot. I wish I had a company giving me extra $1,000 for shouting them out.
Hell yeah.
Like, just streamers.
I would take a company with pretty much most value systems at this point, but you know where I'll draw the line? If they have a bad product and service. That's where I'm going to draw the line because that's their fucking job.
Exactly.
Is to give us a good product or service, right? It's not to stroke my ego or to tell me, yes, you're valid. It's to give me a good product or service. God.
Yeah, it's just so weird. Like, so it goes back to the whole Kick thing. Remember when Kick came around, and everybody was like, "Oh, Kick has Aiden Ross. I would never go over there."
People were trying to cancel me, dude. People were trying to cancel me for testing it. I was like, "Go ahead." It's when my
Are you serious?
when my villain era started, bro.
Really?
That's
Hold
when
on
I
a
started
second.
not
What the?
caring about anything. It wasn't like a huge personal attack, but I was like I was part of the group of people being talked shit about basically because everybody was
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
it's so
Kick's evil
weird.
because of Aiden Ross, and if you're in there, you hate everybody. You're racist, and no one's
I
love it."
saw
Like, excuse me? Like,
I saw so many people talk bad about Kick
I'm like, where do you think Aiden
because of Aiden
came
Ross.
from, bro? He was on Twitch.
And guess
You were
what? Guess
streaming
what?
there
Those
at the same
same
time.
the same people who talk shit about Kick. Guess where they went for that money? Guess where they went? I give you a hint. Rhymes with freaking Brick. They went over the Kick because when Kick announced the 95% split, like you get 95, they get 5, people are like, no way, that can't be real. And when streamers like, look at the check, like I'm actually making this money. And then on top of that, they was
I would
like,
honestly
they said,
be like pretty loaded right now if I was getting 95.5 on Twitch. It's pretty crazy
So-
how much it matters.
Kick had the whole like class thing where they would pay you to stream a certain amount of hours. Like you got paid to stream on Kick.
Yeah.
Like if you were in the first class, second class, third class,
Yeah.
they paid you like a hourly wage to stream. How much hourly wages is Twitch paying people?
Yeah.
Twitch always changes their split, and mind you, some partners get a bigger split than others because they work it out in their contracts. It's literally there's money, but you don't want it because of one person. Because of one person, you say I'm not going over there.
Well, then he came back to
Imagine
Twitch,
me.
didn't he? So I
Yeah.
hope that every single one of those people has left Twitch at this point. Hypocrites.
They're not. Where are they gonna go? Where are they gonna go?
Exactly.
YouTube?
What are they gonna do?
They're gonna go to YouTube and complain.
I didn't hear an uproar when he came back because then they'd have to admit that they're virtue signaling pieces of.
But they won't. Nobody will ever admit it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like I would Turtle Beaches. You know who? Guess who was sponsored by Turtle Beach? The Dr. Disrespect. I stopped watching Dr. Disrespect because of the whole thing that happened.
Oh yeah.
You didn't see me go, I'm never gonna buy Turtle Beaches again.
No, I'm not gonna support him, but like
Exactly.
who he partners with isn't gonna. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous, dude. They're not. You're not selling out your values because you buy something from someone. You're never going to agree with a company or a person on everything. You're going to have to make a whole, like I said, you're going to have to make an Excel spreadsheet for where your line is if you're going to keep doing that because eventually
gonna get
they're going to come for
exhausting.
you. They're going to come for you.
It's gonna get exhausting. Like
When it started to get exhausting for me and like the Kick thing, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm over it. You guys can't make me do anything. I'm going to go where I want to go and buy what I want to buy, and nobody's going to tell me anything.
I know people who stopped playing Blizzard games when that whole thing with the sexual harassment. Like I get it. They completely went cold turkey, and that's cool but here's the thing. They didn't stop because one bad person was associated. There was like half the company was a bunch of shitty people, and they were like, "I'm not playing Blizzard games."
If you don't want to, like, if you personally are just like, "I'm not going to support this, so I don't want to," that is 100% something that you should do if that's what you want to do. The problem is when you start canceling other people and you start shitting on other people for not doing it. Like make your decision, make your line, make your Excel spreadsheet, do whatever you want to do, but understand if you were doing it for others, if you were doing it to look good, if you even think that you might be doing it to be in the eyes of other people doing the right thing, then you are going to eventually have a problem.
Yeah, like don't come at me because I'm playing a game that of somebody you don't like. I remember people was like, don't play Wukong because the designers didn't want women and all this stuff and all this the dev team and blah blah. I was like, okay, well,
Bro, if I didn't play a video
I'm gonna play
game
Wukong
because they don't like women, I probably wouldn't play any video games.
Guess what? There'll be a lot of video games you're not playing
I
them.
probably wouldn't get to play anything, man. But I like the games.
Like, again, I get you have morals and stuff, but at a certain point you gotta go, I'm going poor because of my morals.
Not
and
just
I'm
poor, but
telling you guys
unhappy.
right now.
Like unhappy. Even if you take money out of the equation, what are you going to buy? What are you going to do? You're going to have to make everything by yourself forever. And that's the only thing you'll be able to consume because you don't agree with anyone else on everything.
I'm not making myself miserable because of all these things. Like, oh, well, I can't play this game. And that's why, and this is a thing a lot of streamers won't admit. You know that burnout streamers get? Most of the time, it's not from streaming constantly. It's the stress of always having to say, okay, I have to make sure I'm watching what I'm saying. I have to make sure I'm playing this game because if I don't play this game, this will upset these people. So it's this whole toe in the line to keep viewers.
Yep.
And at a certain point, you just get mentally drained. Like, okay, I'm gonna take a break.
Yep. And
Like,
I may
I
not
know
have a
you
ton of
stream,
growth
and
anymore, but I
because
have a lot of happiness in streaming. I went live
ex-
randomly. You came by. I played Grounded
yeah.
Last of Us because I couldn't watch that show anymore. I couldn't make it through, so I had to take a break. And I played, and I was not having a good day, and I was like, you know what? I just want to play Last of Us with my friends. And every single one of my regulars showed up. I had normal views. It was just for going live randomly. So I might not be growing because I'm not playing the game, but I have what I want at this point. You know what I mean? Like, would I
Exactly.
rather? For me, that would be selling out. It's like playing all of these games to make other people happy in order to get like all of these things. Like, no, absolutely not. If I'm going to do that, I might as well do it in the corporate world where I can make a whole lot more money more easily.
And
You know?
it doesn't get tired. Doesn't it get tiring just to cater and freaking cater and do everything everybody else wants you to do because you got to make everybody else happy because you got to make everybody in your streaming space. It's like when a streamer does something one time wrong, plays a game, says a word like they didn't mean to say, or just like gets like very angry. It's like, oh, I didn't feel safe in the community anymore and everything. I need to leave. It's like, are you serious? Like you don't feel safe because that streamer is playing a game that you don't agree with, or because they associate themselves with somebody they don't agree with.
And wouldn't
Like
you rather
when the
watch and
review,
support someone who is thinking through what they care about and that you might be able to have a real conversation with? And so if they're open to the conversation, does that make sense? Like somebody who's open to changing their mind and open to looking at other value systems from the ones that are being like projected onto them. Isn't that something that you would rather support than somebody who you're not
yeah,
even sure is being honest with you because they're just supporting whatever's popular?
like going way back to like my old podcast with Gothic subtweet this, and it's like when she came out and was like, I'm a Republican. I was like, okay, cool. I don't really care who you vote for. Don't care.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people was like, why are you hanging out with her? I'm like, cause that's the homie, that's my friend. Like,
Yeah.
oh, but she supports Trump. I was like, and that's her right. Like, oh, she doesn't like that means she doesn't like it. I was like, where's all this coming from? Like,
And they do
stop.
this
Like, that's
crazy
my
math
friend.
to justify not having anything with an individual because you disagree with them on something. Like the leaps
Yeah,
in like logic there are crazy to me. I've seen many people get canceled, like try to get canceled over that, where people will be like, oh, how dare you even think you can like talk to a Republican? Like, relax,
yeah. It's
bro.
like me and
Relax.
Goth.
Like where do you live that you don't have anyone different from you? And where, like, do you understand what you're doing in like segregating any groups this way? Like, you're creating conflict where there needn't be conflict.
Exactly. Like me and Gothics to this day are homies, and there's things we don't agree upon. We sit there like she may say something I'm like, well, I don't agree. I feel this way, and she goes, okay, well, and it just that's it.
Yep. Some
I
of
don't
my
sit
best
here and go,
friends I've had
oh,
opposite viewpoints of in
you,
politics.
you how dare you?
Yeah.
But there's people to this day who would sit there and go like, oh, I can't believe you're still friends with her. I was like, I'm sorry that you're miserable because every time somebody doesn't agree with you, you just cut them off.
The only person you need to have very closely aligned value systems with is like your life partner. If you are married to someone and you're going to raise children together, you want your value system to be very closely aligned. Aside from that, you don't have to rely on anybody else's value system for your own. I don't know if you knew.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. And the thing is, if I put myself in that box where I didn't listen to other people because of their either their skin color, their religion, their sexuality, or their political standpoint, I would not be in the where I'm at today. Because lo and behold, when I started learning about money and like how to manage money and stuff, it was a bunch of Republicans. And then when I started about trading and everything, it was a bunch of white people. And then when
the
I started
only
learning about
successful
other
people that
things,
I know in content that don't have drama surrounding them are right wing. Like really
I learned
successful.
stuff.
And that's not to say that you can't do it on the left, but I'm just saying a lot of the people that I've learned from are on the right. And that's not to say that either side is better than the other. It's just to say that if you are not listening to people outside of your own mindset, you're not going to learn anything.
Exactly. Exactly. I have gay friends and friends who are trans and everything, and I listen to their stories, and I don't sit there and go, oh well, you're gay. So I'm like, okay, you're telling me your struggles. I understand. I can now understand. Like I'm talking to you, understand it. I don't sit there and say I support. Put it like this: be whatever you want to be. Be whatever you want to be. Be free. You want to be a duck? Okay, you're a duck. You're a trans woman. You're a trans woman. You're a trans man. You're a trans man. You're gay. You be who you want to be. If it makes you happy, happy
Mm-hmm.
is happy.
Mm-hmm.
I will call you your preferred pronouns because I will show you respect. I respect you as a person.
Yep.
As long as you're not doing anything with kids and animals, we're a-okay.
Yep.
We're a-okay. But if you get to the point where you're like, oh, well, you talk to this person and I can't be friends with you, it's like, okay, just don't be friends with me then.
And
Don't talk to me.
I'm of the same mindset. I'm going to respect anything that anybody wants me to respect. But as soon as they start like coming at me aggressively with something, I just don't want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? As soon as somebody's trying to like change me to their viewpoint, whether it's right or left or anybody else, I'm going to be like, okay, back up. Like if you just want to say that you are gay or you love Jesus, if you're on either side, that's fine. That's cool. I'm glad to hear your perspective, right? But if you're out here trying to say you need to love Jesus or you need to be gay, yeah, I'm going to have a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, again, like, I'm not going to stop playing games or talking to people or like buying things because of one bad person amongst it. Because there's so much bad people or like people associated and giving money to these countries and causes you claim you don't like and hate. You want to be doing anything. Oh,
Yep.
It's not on the list. There's like some list that they say like, oh, they give the money directly to Israel and it supports the genocide. It's like, who made this list?
They are jumping through some hoops, man. It's just, you know what?
Who made this
you
list?
know what? That list is just as bad as the woke list in another way. So I can get
Exactly.
canceled for saying that, but I'll say it, dude. Any of these lists are stupid, dude. Just make your own decisions. Make your own decisions. Decide where your value system is. Spend your money where you want to spend. Spend your time where you want to spend. But like expecting that of anyone else is where you start to absolutely lose me. At least I don't have respect for it. It's like if somebody comes in my chat and they're like, I don't use Twitter and you shouldn't either. You're gonna have a problem with me because I'm gonna use Twitter.
Exactly.
You're not gonna stop me.
Remember, everybody was like, oh my God, I'm leaving
Blue
Twitter and
sky.
going to Blue Sky because Elon Musk did the Nazi salute. I'm out of Twitter. Guess where these motherfuckers came back to bitch and complain? You came right back.
Yep.
Just like the
And
scene in Avengers.
And what happens if like the Blue Sky guy is a pedophile? You know what I mean? Like, get out of here. Like, you're not even doing your research on the Blue Sky people, are you? You don't know them. They could be the worst people ever in the entire world. They could be like decimating some population somewhere, and you wouldn't know. All right, you know nothing about them, and so it's better to just not know anything about the people that run something because the less they know, the less they can do. It's like everybody just needs to shut their mouth about their value systems unless they want to be political, and then it's just this game. It's just a mess, man. It's just a mess, man.
It's like the famous line from Thanos in Avengers Endgame. You cannot live with your own failures, and where did that bring you back to me? Because you guys leave X or Twitter, what you want to call it, go to Blue Sky, suck over there, and you go right back.
It's like
to what you know.
Their values are only as good as like a certain line for what they want, you know? Like eventually their priorities are going to shift above that value often. And then it's not judgmental because like, well, I couldn't make money over there. Okay, well, these people were doing the same thing before and you were judging them for it. It's like
exactly.
now, you know, not for thee, but for me or whatever. It's like, come on, man.
Is rules for thee, not for me.
Yeah, it's just they'll justify anything. And that's why I am always going to respect more people who might disagree with me, but who are truthful about the fact that they are gonna be wrong, but they are trying to do their best with what they know, and they're not gonna like feed into anything. That's it. Like, I'm gonna respect that every day versus somebody who is lying every single day just to be popular. That's ridiculous.
I remember when people were saying don't eat Chick-fil-A because of.
And I really don't. I don't eat Chick-fil-A. I mean,
because
to be honest,
of the religious aspect,
I
and the
haven't bought
company
Chick-fil-A in probably
the church
probably
and all
over
that
a
stuff.
decade. To be honest, I haven't bought Chick-fil-A in ages and ages. Now I've had it because it's been free in finance a lot. Finance people love Chick-fil-A, man. So I've had a lot of free Chick-fil-A over the years, but I have not bought Chick-fil-A in probably at least a decade, if not longer. I don't think I bought Chick-fil-A in my entire adult life, to be honest.
Really,
and I
Chick-fil-A is good.
Well, I mean, I just don't. It's not good enough to, and that's where like my thing is, right? My little Excel spreadsheet in my brain says, well, it's not good enough for me to not want to kiss girls or something, you know. So Everything has a
Chick-fil-A
price, you
stop.
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Listen, I sit there when people are like, you eat Chick-fil-A,
Oh
you
man.
shouldn't because they're homophobic and all that stuff. I'm sitting there like, there's some good homophobic chicken. I'm sorry.
Listen, if it's
I'm
free,
sorry. I support
I'll
you.
fuck up some chicken minis, all right? But in a chicken
Listen,
biscuit, oof.
you guys seriously don't shoot yourself in the foot. I've also talking about this. I don't know if you ever heard of the rapper Baby No Money. He had like a little like he did a video. He did a music video with the OTK group. OTK is a bunch of streamers. There's a streamer group that's consisted of Misfit. Asmongold used to be on there. Imaru and some other girl. I keep forgetting her name. She's like all over. But that was a group he was associated with because now Baby No Money is stepping into the lineup. Like he's hanging out with a lot of streamers and everything now. I guess they shot a music video, but then the whole thing with Asmongold and Asmongold has been very controversial and very open about how he doesn't support what's happening in Palestine and he's like very on the side of Israel. Baby No Money like put like a caricature face on his face in the music video and was like he's just like I'm not gonna associate myself with him anymore because of his viewpoints and stuff. And it's just like sometimes like artists you need to stay away from streamers. I think our artists and just stay away from streamers. I'm telling you now, stay away from streamers because in all honesty,
Or we could just relax and not
Let me
need to
take-
know everybody's political
let me
opinions
take
all the
that back.
time.
Let me take that back. Let me take that back. Be careful of the streamers you hang out with because some streamers are so stuck in their political ways where it's just like the minute you don't align with them, they're going to attack you. They're going to have their fan base attack you. And then you're going to lose a fan base too. So it's a very thin line when you work with certain people in this industry, in the content creating industry. Because I've seen it firsthand where like people will love you one day and the minute you do something, they stop messing with you. They're like, oh, I'm no longer friends with this person. I'm completely cutting them off. Forget the years and years and of friendships and how long they've been like you've been hanging with them. One wrong thing, there is just like you're dead to them. You're dead. You're dead. They will throw away friendships for viewers and clicks.
That's crazy to me. Some of my actually, pretty much everyone who's close to me has different opinions than me, and we like to talk about them very calmly and logically and just talk through them. And sometimes one of us changes our mind. Imagine that. It's just thoughts, and it's all just thoughts. Is what it's not like all of your behaviors are decided by these thoughts. You know what I mean? Like your behaviors are decided individually. It's not like one overarching value system is making every decision for you. And I don't understand why people can't see individuals anymore. They have to see altruism, and they're putting this like altruism nonsense above actual people. They'd rather hurt individuals to have some sort of crazy belief system. It's insane.
Because it's safer in numbers, being a part of a group. Nobody wants to be an outsider anymore. I'd rather be part of a group. I'd rather be a part of a group than be alone in things. And I get it. Everybody wants to be a part of something. Everybody wants to find their people, find their space. But sometimes it's just like, are you a part of a group or you're a part of a
cult,
a collective?
It's cult mindset. People are so afraid to be alone that they'd rather let other people think for them.
Exactly. And it's crazy. We all look for best friends and stuff. We look for friends. Everybody wants to have a friend, right? Mad, we're friends, right?
Yeah, I'd say we're friends.
You didn't say that very enthusiastic, so we're not friends.
Yeah, we're friends.
But me and Mad know each other. Do we agree in everything? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. We don't agree on everything.
Podcast because we disagree on a lot, and so we can have conversations about it.
Yes, and there's two different viewpoints. She's a gay female. I'm a black heterosexual male. So we have two different viewpoints. Mm-hmm. If we decide we want to get a third person in here, we'll probably get a white person.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like, and then an Asian person to finish everything up. But at the end of the day, it's like, I can see her side of things. She can see my side of things. I can rebuttal on her things. Like you guys seen us have bickering. We bicker like a old couple. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because I'm trying to convince her like what I'm saying is the right thing, and she's trying to tell me, no, what you're saying is wrong.
But what's interesting about this is we're not trying to like cancel each other. When you have conversations with a lot of people who you disagree with in this day and age in the media, like in all of this space, the creator space, it feels like you're constantly walking on eggshells or they're going to cancel you. You know, if you say the wrong thing, it's like, oh, you can't say that. Like, yes, you can say that. I just said that. So now actually debate it. You know what I mean? Like actually have a conversation about it. I've said it. It's there. Like, stop this like nonsense of trying to silence people. If you try to silence and you're trying to make your narrative the only narrative, there's always another side. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Exactly, 100%. And it's just like, you know, if you stay in a bubble for so long, you miss out on so much knowledge and information and like people who can actually help and benefit you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you stay in that small bubble of that small group, yes, it's safe. But the thing is, when you don't even like attempt to even have a conversation that is different from your own views and opinions, it's just like, what are you learning? We are human beings. We're meant to interact with each other.
Yeah.
We do it through gaming. And like, be honest, like to be honest, gaming has gotten to the point where it's just like, gamers don't know what they want anymore.
They're letting everybody else decide what they want for them. It's crazy. It's like if they're a fan of a certain account, they're just going to listen to whatever they say and buy what they say they should instead of actually looking around and saying, oh, this is a game I want. Like, you realize that every single person that you listen to on the internet, you can decide just as much as they do what's right for you.
Exactly. 100%. And you just, when I talk about gamers not knowing they want it, I'm getting sidetracked here, but Elden Ring Night Rain came out.
Mm-hmm.
Elden Ring Night Rain is a roguelike multiplayer Soulsborne game, right? For the longest, people have been saying we need a dedicated multiplayer Elden Ring game. They said, sure, here you go. Oh, mind you, the communication within the game, there's just pings. There's no voice chat and everything.
And people are like, crazy for a multiplayer game, but
yeah, but here's the thing. But what is Soulsborne's games are known for? When somebody joins your game, you know how they communicate with you? Emotes. They wave, or they use the point emote, or they have like a little rock that says like hello or thank you or something. That's it. That's communication.
okay.
That's communication. But now but the game got a 7 because of the game is they screwed up and they made the solo play is too difficult, they said. But there's already people who beaten bosses solo.
So it sounds like they just need
people
to get good.
Exactly. People testing the game said that the game wasn't scaled for solo as of yet. But there's people who were beating the game and these bosses by themselves. And I'm like, what the hell? Because you know why? They understand the mechanics of a Souls game and this new mechanic. The matchmaking, you get paired up with people who never played a Souls game. I'm telling you, but people are getting used to it. It's still a new game. But the thing is, like, you people complain about not having a dedicated multiplayer Souls game. Then you get it, you're like, I don't really want it. I'm enjoying it. Is it frustrating? Yes. But that's the thing. Souls games are supposed to frustrate you. And it's a roguelike game. So once you die...
It proves your point, right? That people don't know what they want. And they'll ask for something, they'll get it, and then it's not what they want at all. And that...
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just aren't self-aware, to be honest. And I think it's one of the biggest problems that we have in society. If more people were self-aware, we wouldn't have all of this signaling and nonsense. You know, people would just say what they think and have open and honest like conversations about it, and we could all make mistakes and we could say the wrong thing and not get canceled over it and just be like, hey, this is why this can be hurtful to people. Okay, I don't really care about that. Okay, why not? And like just have real conversations instead of being like, well, no, I can't have you anywhere near me because I'm right and you're wrong. Like, it's just, oh man, it's exhausting. I don't know how people live like that.
It's just a series of bad life choices. And speaking of life choices, which are being bad, Pokimane and Lily Pichu, they have like they're two streamers. Everybody knows Pokimane. If you don't know who Pokimane is, Google it. And Lily Pichu, she's like another streamer. So they have a podcast. Like me and Matt, we have a podcast together. But their podcast is like, they're cozy, they're next to each other, they got the mics and all that stuff. It's like a studio setup. It looks professional.
Yeah.
They're saying after like, having this podcast, their monthly income is only $5,500. But after spending $13,300 to pay staff and buy tools and equipment. And I'm saying that like, why are you spending that much on tools and equipment when both of you are sponsored by these big companies who I'm pretty sure you asked, they just give it to you, and because all you have to do is shout them out. And how much staff do you have?
That's mind-boggling to me. If any of them see this and they want to hire me, I can fix those finances real quick. That's crazy. Like, what are you spending on? The costs are so high. So
they're saying to begin, the two revealed that in order to start up the podcast, it cost $16,000 to start filming one episode because they needed the design set for it to be soundproof. All right. From there, every month they spent $13,000.
I could see them investing in a set.
There's 7 staff members. Hold on. 7 staff members and affordable tools such as Sony's membership, Google Workspace, and Tier 3 Patreon goodies. However, throughout the ads and Patreon, the two covered their losses. In March, they made $18,000. Okay. In April, they made a little bit under $15,000. In May, they made under $16,000. When all is said and done, their current monthly income is the low end is $2,700, and their highest is $12,000 with an average of $5,500. We spend like $400 a month, give or take, to pay an editor. Just an editor.
I mean,
we don't make money from this. And we're not even making money from this.
Yeah, and
we're hemorrhaging money. We're in the hole.
Like, there are costs. Like, I have, for all of my stuff, right, I have a storage device, a big storage device. I have like 100 terabytes at this point between all of my storage devices. I'm not even kidding.
But you had
now,
that
some
prior
of it has
to this.
redundancies and all of that. But I have and then I haven't even been able to use my cloud storage because it takes a while to upload. But anyway, it's like you do have to have, you need a set, you need storage, you need all the stuff that makes the thing happen. And then you might need like an editor, maybe a producer if they don't want to think of their own content or whatever. Like if they want somebody going to get topics for them and do all that and like position them and all that. All right. I can see them having associated costs like that. That makes sense. And doing all their goodies, whatever. But that's outlandish. That means that they're trying to do cream of the crop without cream of the crop numbers. It's just like all the misbudgeted games. It's like, okay, well, you don't have enough mass market for that production. So you're going to be operating at very little. Is that worth it for you? Because otherwise you can just, bring back the operating costs. I had higher operating costs for a long time, more than I do now, because I was doing like some bigger events and stuff that cost a lot of money. Like I wanted to do another streamer games. I did it before Ludwig. Okay. My streamer games is cooler.
We got it. We know. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep talking about it. Listen, so that cost me quite a bit. I pretty much broke even. I made a lot of money from it, but I spent a lot of money on it. So it was a break even situation. And that's how a lot of businesses work, is like they'll spend a lot and they'll make a lot. And so people will be like, oh, well, they're bringing in billions of dollars. Okay, but they're also spending billions of dollars. So you have to look at the bottom line. And a lot of people don't even understand that math. And a lot of companies won't even be like profitable as much as you think they are. And that's why people question. They're like, how is Twitch not profitable? Because they're spending money. Like it costs a lot of money to do these things. And that's why you get paid in finance. It's why I worked in finance, because somebody's got to figure out how to make all that stuff work well and like budget for the actual product and audience. That's it. And they're just not doing it well. And I wouldn't expect them to know. I mean, I would actually at this point expect them to know how to do it. But they've been doing this for a long time. You'd think they would have learned.
Dude, I would just be like, let's just do it in our house. Like how much, like ask one of our friends, hey, listen, you mind helping me with this? Help set it up. The lights, how much? I got these lights for free. They could get the same Elgato lights for free too, I'm sure.
You know
Because
what?
Elgato, they're partnered with Elgato. All these companies, they get free stuff.
These people will spend so much money on that stuff, but they won't spend money on saving money. And that's where like a finance person would come in. I thought about trying to start a business at one point, but it's just so hard to get off the ground of like people could like creators could pay me $500 a month and I'd fix all of their finances to make sure they're spending money in the right spot. And I was like, that'd be cool.
That's not bad.
Right? Like that,
That's not
because
bad. But
I'm so good at that. And people are
But
not.
what are your credentials? What are your credentials?
I did it for corporations and I made the millions.
But don't you need licenses and stuff like
For personal
like
finance,
licenses
yeah, not for corporate finance. I'd be doing it for the business, not for their personal. I'm not investing for you. I would be like looking at everything you're spending and then looking at everything you're making and associating those costs with what you're making and telling you here's where you have the highest margin, here's where a lot of your effort's being spent, here's where a lot of your money's being spent, and here's how you can better align those resources so that you're making more money off of what you're spending and more time off of what the time you're spending is too. You can do all of that with metrics and say, okay, here's where you're spending your resources. And that's why I'm constantly pivoting in the stuff that I do, because I'm like, okay, where can I apply more effort to try to get what I need and what are my goals? And so that system is the same if I were to get like a certification for personal, but you need that because then you're doing a little bit more of that risk factor there. But when it comes to a business, it's more just pointing you in the right direction, telling you what the analytics are telling you, and then you make that final decision. You know.
I mean, I think you should be good at it. I think you should, shoot your shot and like.
Yeah, I actually built a website beginning of last year while I was writing my book and thought about doing it, but I was like, I'm gonna have to like just finding clients is the worst part. And I tried to start with businesses and I was doing a little bit of that, but it's tough. So like actual
That's the one
businesses
thing
in the creator space.
If you don't have like the clientele already, it's just hard to try to grab new ones and build that clientele. Like even with my little side business with teaching in health and safety and like CPR stuff, is like I have to go to like doctors' offices and say, hey, I'm a local BLS and CPR instructor. I'm nearby. I have my own dummies and everything. I could come in, do private, whatever. Also, even with high schools and the community centers, like I do teach this stuff and everything. And a lot of times it's just like it's hard because it's like they may have already contacts they deal with within that they're comfortable working with. Now here's this new guy and everything. Like what makes you stand out? And that's a lot of things that people need to understand. Like when it comes to like business, like if you, especially as a streamer, when you're a streamer, you have to sell yourself. What makes you different than the last streamer I just saw? What separates you from them and everything? And that's why everybody says like business 101 is your 30-second elevator pitch. You have 30 seconds to sell yourself. And if you can't do that, then you fail, you lose automatically. So when somebody, has been said since like 2016, 2015, before Twitch became what it is now, before it was like this mega with people making billions of dollars. You have 30 seconds to pique somebody's interest. The minute they click on your stream and says hi, you have 30 seconds to impress them. 30 seconds, and then make a lasting what is that word I'm looking for? A lasting impression on them. And it's the same thing in the real world too. When you meet a guy or girl you like, you have to leave an impression, right? You have to talk to them, sell yourself.
And in
pros,
business,
cons.
right? Same thing. You've got to have a differentiator. You've got to have something, and so you've got to know what you're about. You've got to know your strengths. You got to know your weaknesses. You've got to know what you're about and what you want to accomplish, and just sell that. And that's wherever you are. And a lot of people don't have confidence in that because, again, going back to self-awareness, people need to be more self-aware. At least try. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to mess it up. It's okay. Like just try, give it an effort, and you'll evolve. I mean. That's just how it goes. I mean, when I was starting out in my job, I would say actually I'm pretty similar still. Mine was, you know what my line was in interviews? What? If I'm not trying to put myself out of a job, I'm not doing it right. That was me in finance. I was the person that everybody hates now because I'm the one who caused this. Like I was like, I want to automate everything. I want to make everything better. I want to make everything simpler to do. I wanted to take people out of it as much as possible for the really redundant stuff because we don't need to do that. We should be doing more fun stuff. So
Yeah, I just say when I get asked in job interviews, I was like, what do you like? What are you looking to do at this company? I was like, take your job. That's what it is. Because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stay stagnant. I want your job.
No, I wanted them to know that I was trying to put myself out of a job so that they know that's what I was trying to do, and then I could take a new job and then make that job disappear. That was my goal, right? Because if I do that well, you should want me somewhere else, and because you're creating value, because you're saving them money. If you can save someone money, they're going to keep. And so that's the thing is a lot of people in the creator industry don't understand the value of saving money. They only understand the value of making money. And because of that, because they don't understand how costs work, they just are like, well, I made this much money. Well, okay, how much did it cost you? How much did that subathon cost you? You gave away an entire PlayStation, all right? So what did you make? Oh, I didn't. Exactly. Maybe you should have thought that through.
Well, I'm surprised these two don't have like a bigger, larger numbers, like with like ad revenue and like just viewership, because they're well-known streamers. They're two well-known female streamers. So like, and it's kind of like that whole thing, out with the old and with the new.
They
I
probably
guess.
are just relying, their differentiating factor is just that they're two popular female streamers. That's it. Their differentiator should be something outside of that. Like how we have Unfiltered. You know, a lot of people are not
Yeah.
doing Unfiltered. They're putting on some sort of show. We're out here like saying our real thoughts about things and like having real conversations around things that nobody else is because they're scared of getting canceled. Like that's
Yeah.
a value in and of itself, right? We're willing to talk to anyone and can have a real conversation and not make them feel like pinned in a corner, right? That's a different situation than a lot of the people out there. That's a differentiator. Whereas, oh, two popular female streamers, it's like, okay, well, all you're gonna get is people who want to see girls. Like that's your value proposition. There's a lot of girls, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
There's a lot.
that can be one piece of your value proposition, that maybe you're a girl doing something girls haven't done before. Okay, that can be a piece of it, but you still have to have a differentiator outside of it, you know?
Exactly, because there's so
Always.
many females every day who's streaming. Every day there's a new female streamer. Every day there's a new male
I
streamer.
remember when I
Every day.
started, I didn't think there would be a lot of girls in it. Like because I'd never watched Twitch before. I was like, oh, I bet there's not that many like girls doing this. Because like I've been gaming my whole life,
Wrong.
and I didn't know that
Wrong.
many girl gamers. Like I was always hanging out with guys that were gaming. And other than like my sister, but she gamed a little bit, and then I had like one other friend that was a girl that gamed. But pretty much every other girl I knew was like into, you know, dolls or something.
Listen, it's just strange to see. It's like, you know, I mean, not strange to see women playing video games and not that, but it's just strange to see like people who are
Canceled.
women playing video games in 2025.
With you. I can't be associated with you anymore. You eat women.
Listen, the day I do something heinous, that's when I would tell you shouldn't hang out with me.
Bro, I'm still going to. I'm still going to.
Nah, I might do some heinous stuff.
You
And you're gonna be like,
you could pull like an Asmon, and I'll still be like, yo, we're doing the podcast though. I would do a podcast with Asmon. I would do it.
Listen.
So if you become Asmon, I will do a podcast with you.
So what does become an Asmon? Become a dirt bomb?
I don't know. Whatever he does that people hate all the time. I mean, he's a man that thinks for himself. You got to give him that. He's
a dirty man.
He's dirty.
Yeah.
It's gross. I don't know why anybody would want to do what he does, but he does what he wants. You got to give him that.
What is it called? Rot maxing? That's what they call rot maxing? I've seen like videos of girls and like their rooms are just dirty.
Yeah.
And it's like rot maxing to the fullest, and it's just like, whoa.
I mean, after like a really long stream, I sometimes have like piles of stuff here, but then I immediately clean it up. I try to clean it up every morning, like if I do a marathon, but
no.
Or every night or every morning.
There's a difference between having like, okay, I got an empty bottle, you know, from drinking water.
Yeah, because if I have a marathon, I might have like a takeout bag and then like a couple takeout things, and then if I cook something, I might have a couple plates and forks and stuff, and then I might have some cups because I've maybe had some orange juice or whatever, and then if I'm drinking too, I might have a bottle and a Glencairn. You know what I mean? Like I'll have all.
What
of
is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you?
If I'm doing a marathon for days, I try to like either at night or in the morning, you know, take stuff, throw it away, and then like put stuff in the sink. But if I'm doing a marathon, I'm not like doing dishes during the marathon, so it just is until the end. Yeah. So if it's a 5-day marathon, it just has to soak. But
I got like one bag, takeout bag, and it's in my trash can.
I'm gonna do a cleaning day after every marathon. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go through and make sure everything's like deep clean
I don't
after
know.
that.
I don't know, Matt. I'm afraid to see your the
Smart
home tour.
No, it looks good right now. Looks good right now. I'm not doing a marathon at this moment. And even then, it's just congregated on the desk. You know what I mean? And then I just.
I try to stay very clean. I try to like, gotta stay clean. Gotta be neat. Like,
Yeah.
you ever get like cleaning fits?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Or like you
I do
walk
a
around
lot,
your house.
especially when I have time for it. Like, I'll do the bare like minimum to keep everything clean. You know, sometimes when I'm really busy with stuff, but I like having a clean space a lot. I feel like I need
Yeah.
it.
It's a lot of work to clean, but after you're done, you're like, okay,
I've started doing
done.
it
It's
more
like,
in the morning, actually. So when I wake up, letting my mind kind of rest, which normally you want to like get the day started, but I've started really enjoying like cleaning first and then getting into my stuff. It's been a weird routine lately.
you know why you like cleaning, right?
Because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. I'll spend my morning in the kitchen, if you will.
Ah,
Just doing my
okay.
womanly thing.
Doing your womanly duties. There you
Oh,
go.
God.
She don't need no man.
Don't need no
She can do it
man.
herself.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get my
Well,
cooking.
well, that's all we pretty much got covered today. Let us know in the comments below. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think like, not buying things or just like not cutting off like a support from a sponsorship or contract you have with a company because they have like one guy associated with them that you don't agree with his politics? Like, let us know how you feel about that in the comments below. Would you cut off getting money from a company all because of one person? Would that affect you on getting your money and getting what's yours? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with two of your favorite unfiltered podcasters. That's a lot of breath. I can't breathe. Ugh.
Gonna have to start
You got
swimming
anything
or
you wanna?
something.
What's that?
You gotta start swimming or something. Get better at
I've been running. That was good. That was a little
doing great.
thing. You got anything? Any final words?
Self-awareness, man. Just start thinking through your own stuff. Don't let anybody else decide for you. Even if you're wrong, make it your wrong, you know?
Yeah, own that shit.
Yeah.
If you wrong, just go full head and like, you know what? I'm wrong, but hey.
You're never gonna change if you don't admit to being wrong, you know?
Yeah. There's only two things. There's only your right and wrong in life, or the other option. We won't talk about that right now. But
Wait, what?
that's all I got. Goodbye.
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 Bye.
Bye.